Welcome back to our Dementia Prevention Webinar Series, sponsored by the University of Ottawa Brain and Mind Research Institute. And today we're going to talk about how loneliness and depression can increase our risk for dementia. Dr. Hakim will tell us how persistent sadness and social isolation can actually damage the brain by multiple mechanisms. And he'll also tell us ways we can mitigate this risk. So let's listen to the webinar, and I hope you really enjoy it.
We're going to talk today about the impact of depression particularly, and mental health in general, on our memory function. Now, I know that mental health is a huge topic, and depression is also a big topic. But the reason I bring this up is that depression has a very significant impact on our memory function. It is very important to socialize, to feel useful, because loneliness, which can become depression, can harm your memory function. In this, a very important study that looked at the factors, the conditions that are associated with damage to the small blood vessels that feed our brain and whose function is very important for memory, they were very surprised to see that depression was as big a risk for the occurrence of these silent brain infarcts that are due to occlusion of small blood vessels. Depression was as big a risk as high blood pressure. So depression is absolutely something that will impact the function of our memory. I have put this together to show how depression can lead ultimately to loss of memory function and dementia. Depression damages the brain through small vessel disease and does cause strokes, and those can cause, small vessel disease can cause dementia. But depression slows the heart down. When we are sad, our heart doesn't beat as fast, creates inflammation in our body, and causes these structural changes because of the small vessel disease, all of which can lead to the occurrence of memory weakness and dementia eventually. Depression and loneliness also brings about other risk factors that cause damage to our cognitive function and our memory function. This is a quote from a person who weighs heavily, and he says that on those days when he feels very alone and sad, he tries to go to fast food because fast food serves as a little bridge to the other side. At least I can say to myself, I've been out among people for a while, and the food pushes the hurt down the road a little bit. So depression often is associated with obesity, which, as we have said, is a major risk factor for cognitive function. And all of us have perhaps come across usually a woman who loses her husband and becomes lonely, and her neighbors who used to visit with her say, oh, leave her alone, she's feeling sad because of the loss of her husband, instead of saying, oh, this is really the time when we should go talk to her, so she's not alone. And many of us in our medical care have seen a person who's lost a partner suffer from both depression and a decrease in memory function. And we have learned recently something that was a surprise to all of us, and that is that what we eat seems to also have an impact on how light our hearts feel, how depression can be really neutralized to some extent by the choice of what we eat. and adhering to a healthy diet, in particular a traditional Mediterranean diet, or avoiding a pro-inflammatory diet confers protection against depression. But obviously that may not be enough to avoid depression, and I don't mean to say that it's all about the food that we eat. Often when depression is significant, you have to bring that to the attention of your care provider, your physician, or your psychiatrist. But the take-home message is very clear. Depression, when not treated and when not preserved, when good mood is not preserved and depression takes over, memory function is going to be weakened. Diet has an influence on mental health. So please stay connected with people in your environment. Go visit your neighbor, particularly when you sense that she is having difficulty with emotional quiet and is tending towards depression. Go visit her and stay connected with people in your environment, particularly if they bring joy into your life. Those are the ones you need to stay connected with. And I wish you well. Thank you. Thank you for joining us on our journey to learn more about dementia prevention. These are all the webinars that we have now completed, and I wish you all good memory function and good cognition. Thank you.
If you'd like to learn more about resources available to you, please visit our partners at the Dementia Society of Ottawa in Renfrew County.
So I'd like to thank Dr. Hakim for a very interesting and informative webinar, and I hope everyone really enjoyed it. And at this point, I would like to thank our supporters and also acknowledge our partners. So the University of Ottawa Brain and Mind Research Institute is affiliated with and supported by the University of Ottawa and the associated faculties. We also have over 250 researchers, many of whom come from our partner institutions, including BHAW, the Briere Hospital, the Montfort Hospital, the Ottawa Hospital, and the Royal Institute of Mental Health Research. Finally, I would like to thank the Brain and Mind admin team for all the work and all their production efforts, including Natasha Hollywood, Victoria Rache, Candice Fortier, and Sarah Schock. So thank you so much. And finally, if you have questions for us, or if you have comments, or you'd like to follow us, please go to our website at uOttawa.ca/brain, or follow us on Facebook or on Twitter. And many of you are with us today because you have lived experience with dementia. Like many of us, you have family members, friends, or relatives that are living with the devastating effects of dementia. And presently, there is no cure. So if you would like to make a difference and make a direct impact on the innovative research that we're doing at the University of Ottawa Brain and Mind Research Institute, please support our memory and cognition research today by going to the link alumni.uottawa.ca/brainhealth. So thank you for being with us, and we hope you join us again soon for upcoming webinars.